I feel uncomfortable because here in Spain everyone speaks Spanish. Chicken in Spanish is a Russian female name. Wow. Hi guys, welcome to my new video from Madrid, the capital of Spain. This is my first time in this country, but in this video I will not show you the city center attractions. I will mostly walk around this neighborhood and share my first impressions, and also I will compare Spain to Portugal. And to get my first cultural experience of Spain, I will go to the laundry. As you know from my previous videos, I came to Madrid from Porto, where there is an outbreak of wildfires. My bus was delayed because of that, and I walked around Porto on the last day with this suitcase. That's why the first thing I visited in Madrid was a laundromat. So I finally made it. Now I'm in Madrid. I'm in some park drinking coffee, and I went to the laundromat to wash all my clothes I wore that day because it smells with smoke so much, and I noticed it only when I came here. And as you can see here, the sky is blue and I see everything in normal colors. It's unusual to see this contrast because I just came from a country where everything that people are worried about are the wildfires, and well, the sky is yellow, everything smells with smoke. And I also spoke with one person who lives here, and she was like, oh really, there are fires in Portugal? But you know, for me it is an issue because I have just been there and now I'm here, and this 8-hour ride by my Russian Far Eastern measures is not that far, so I consider these cities, Porto and Madrid, to be really close. But apparently for people here it's a different story, it's another country obviously. I quite enjoyed this laundry, and there was a man who helped me. There was English translation, it worked properly. So after that I went to a grocery store because I think it is also a good opportunity to learn about daily life in this country. So I came to a Spanish supermarket, and I will point out some interesting goods that I found. For example, these eggs, I don't know, just like this chicken, and also the fact that chicken in Spanish is gallina. It's a Russian female name. In Russia, a regular pack of eggs would be 10, but in European countries it's a dozen. And wow, 24 eggs. Well, it's not the biggest because in Russia they are sold in 30s. Sausages, even chopped one. And also I assumed that quesos is cheese, and when I realized it I was like, oh my god, this is where the word quesadilla comes from. Quesadilla. Maybe for some of you this is such an obvious thing, but I was like, wow. Even burger that you can warm up. I love this design. This one looks really unusual. It's like spaghetti but made of fish. Melo di amore. Okay, and that's how it's eaten. And I will probably take this because I don't have any energy to think. It's always interesting to see world famous, globalized brands, but in a unique packaging, the one that exists only in this country. Zero caffeine. Oh wow, I like these little boxes. Actually, no, they sell this small Coke in Georgia as well. This thing, I thought that we have this only in Russia. It was called crab sticks, and it's made out of pollock, not of crab, obviously. And I actually bought it and tried it, and yeah, it tastes exactly as our Far Eastern crab sticks, maybe even better. And now I'm going to say a really dumb thing. but I feel uncomfortable because here in Spain everyone speaks Spanish. In all the previous countries where I traveled, I used English, either because the local people know it very well or because they don't know it but they are used to tourists. I have no background with Spanish. I somehow managed to order coffee in Polish when I was in Poland because just a Slavic language. But with Spanish, I never had this kind of cultural interaction. When I studied geography or watched Eurovision, the first 5 countries that I ever learned about and that seemed like the biggest countries of Europe were the UK, which I called England back then, France, Germany, Spain, and Italy, in that particular order. I already visited Germany out of these top 5, and now I'm finally visiting Spain. But one of the first opportunities to introduce myself to the Spanish culture was a video game that I played as a kid. It's called Corsari, or Sea Dogs. There is a fictional archipelago based on the Caribbean geography, and you have to complete different quests, fight with other ships, and so on. It is actually a Russian game, so I'm not sure about the authenticity of this game, but I enjoyed it a lot. So in this game you also have to swear allegiance to one of the 3 governments, whether it's England, Spain, or France. You have to go to one of the islands and speak to the governor who will give you a patent. Once you receive the patent, you become a corsair of this particular country. For example, if you receive it from the English, now you are the enemy of the Spanish, but you're neutral to the French and vice versa. There is also the 4th possibility to travel here to the Pirate Islands. It means that you will become a true corsair, but you're the enemy of every of these 3 countries now. And it's interesting that when you enter an island belonging to one of these countries, there is a different design, architecture. That's how I firstly kind of learned about England, France, Spain, and their differences. What is also amazing is the music. Depending on the country you enter, there's different soundtrack, and this is how it sounds for an English town. You know, it's pretty peaceful, calm, French. I don't know, I imagine some Provence village. But guys, hear me out. This is the Spanish town. Very, like, I can't even explain. I like all of them, but I think that Spanish, for some reason, differs from others. It's more adventurous. Here are some recycling trash bins. Here it says general waste and packaging waste, and I'm confused what it means. Maybe this is anything like chocolates, bottles, anything that has a package, and this is for food in general. I don't know. Look at this beautiful leaf. Why is it so funny? I mean, not even the fact that there's a dog, but just this placard itself, this picture of the dog is so funny. And I want to return to the language topic as well. If you're still watching to this point, not hating me for demanding people speaking English here. Of course, if I lived here, I would start learning Spanish from day one. But as a tourist, I find it more difficult when people don't switch to English with me, as they did in many previous countries I visited. And here I want to compare it with Portugal, because they have a lot of expats, British, American pensioners, digital nomads, laundromat, so in Portugal there is a better knowledge of English than here, and it depends on many factors: history, how much tourism is developed in this country, and how small this country is. For example, in Georgian cinemas you can see movies in both Georgian and English with Georgian subtitles. Young people know English there pretty well compared to Russians, and I know that in Portugal as well they don't dub foreign movies, they play them in English with Portuguese subtitles, so I think it's also a factor. And overall, comparing Portugal and Spain, I think it's a good thing that I came to Portugal first, because it seems that this country is overshadowed by Spain because, well, Spain is just bigger. The population of Portugal is about 10 million people. In Spain, there is about 50 million people. It's a good thing that I visited Portugal first because I think it gives more credit to this smaller country, and now I can refer to my impressions and memories from Lisbon. But despite the size difference, both countries largely participated in the process of colonization during the Age of Discovery, and now I would like to talk about the languages, Spanish and Portuguese. So worldwide, almost 500 million people speak Spanish, and as for Portuguese, it's 250 million. But the majority of speakers come not even from the country of these languages' origin. So speaking about Spanish, Mexico is the leader here with 130 million speakers. Then there is the United States with 57 million, Colombia 52, and only then comes Spain, 48 millions. As for the Portuguese, it's the same. Brazil here is the boss, 200 million speakers. Wow. Then come the African nations of Angola and Mozambique with about 35 million people, and Portugal is only on the fourth place with 10 million native speakers. This statistics is so interesting, and I think it results in the fact that many people from the former colonies now can move to either Portugal or Spain because they already have this cultural background, they know the language. I also heard that the European Portuguese now is highly influenced by the Brazilian one because kids in Portugal watch Brazilian YouTube videos and cartoons, and it's well known that Spanish in Mexico is way different from Spanish in Spain. It's a very interesting topic. So finally I am in Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. I came here by a high-speed train from Madrid. The ride was just 3 hours and a half. There were checkpoints in the railway station in Madrid. I haven't seen this in other Western European countries. Maybe because it is a big city, it is a capital, that's why they have these safety precautions there. But yeah, now I'm in Barcelona finally. Do I pronounce it right? But here in Barcelona I have something to add about the languages, because I was so fascinated about these differences between Spanish and Portuguese. But here in Catalonia I explored a whole another world of Catalan language. For example, right here. I wonder, are these posters written in Spanish or Catalan? I'll bet that this is all Catalan. I'll check it later in Google Translate. But I will tell you more about this in my next video about Barcelona. And yeah, this is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can support me additionally by the links in the description. Thank you very much. Have a good day and goodbye. Пока-пока.